The sky over Earth had always been full of familiar sights, the sun rising, birds flying, airplanes cutting through the clouds. But today, it was different. Millions of people across the globe noticed it at the same time. Something huge appeared. In the sky, a presence unlike anything humans had ever seen. At first it looked like a cluster of bright stars moving together. But as the hours passed, the movement became clear. The shapes were massive, far larger than any human spacecraft. Cities held their breath as the strange objects hovered silently above them. News channels scrambled to cover the event, but words felt inadequate. Pictures showed enormous ships, smooth and shining, their surfaces reflecting the light of the sun in strange, dazzling patterns. In Washington, scientists and military leaders gathered in emergency meetings. Dr. Lena Morales, an astrophysicist, stared at the live feed from the observatories. "This isn't like anything we've cataloged," she said. Her voice was calm but tense. "These ships are not natural. They are clearly engineered, and they are not just one, but thousands." Colonel Marcus Ray, head of the United Earth Defense Council, leaned forward in his chair. "So what do we do? Are they hostile?" Lena shook her head slowly. "We don't know. Their speed, their coordination, it suggests intelligence far beyond ours. But we have no reason yet to assume hostility. They are observing." Outside, in the streets of New York, people stopped and looked up. Children pointed. Adults held their phones in disbelief, and some simply stood in awe. No one could explain the feelings swelling in their hearts. There was fear, yes, but also an unshakable curiosity. Humans had always looked to the stars, dreaming of what lay beyond, and now the stars had come to them. From the first moments of contact, humanity did something unexpected. The aliens, assuming fear and chaos, expected humans to panic, to scramble in confusion. But the humans, as always, were unpredictable. Governments issued calm announcements. Citizens stayed mostly orderly. People opened their hearts to wonder, not terror. In the skies, the largest ships began to settle into orbits around major cities. In Tokyo, Paris, London, New Delhi, and Rio, alien vessels hovered as if inspecting the planet. Their sheer size was enough to cause panic, but humans kept their composure. They studied the shapes, watched the lights, and whispered theories to one another. On board the ISS, astronauts floated in zero gravity, staring at the approaching fleet through the station's windows. Commander Akira Tanaka spoke first. "It's enormous. I've never seen anything this precise in formation." Lieutenant Sofia Alvarez nodded. "It's almost artistic. Every ship moves with purpose, like part of a single mind." Back on Earth, emergency teams prepared for anything. Yet even in preparation, humans did what they did best. They adapted. Engineers checked every possible defense system. Scientists calculated trajectories, and leaders devised contingency plans. But there was no panic. Instead, there was determination, a quiet confidence that humanity had faced challenges before and would face this one too. Then, the first signal came. Every screen on the planet, every device capable of receiving it, suddenly flickered. A voice, or something like a voice, resonated in every language simultaneously. It was deep, calm, and commanding. "People of Earth, you have been observed. You will submit to the authority of the Galactic fleet. Failure to comply will result in your destruction." Governments scrambled. Military leaders consulted their maps and satellites. Lena whispered under her breath, "They expect fear, but they have not met humans yet." In Washington, President Alara Singh appeared on screens worldwide. Her voice was steady, her eyes clear. "To the visitors in our sky, we acknowledge your arrival. We will not harm you, and we ask that you do the same. We are willing to communicate and understand. Let us meet as equals, not enemies." Across the globe, ordinary humans watched and listened. Some laughed nervously, others frowned. But a quiet sense of pride spread. Humans had survived countless challenges before. Earth had endured wars, disasters, and crises, yet people had always found a way. Now facing the unknown, they would do the same. In New York, a young engineer named Samir Patel stood on his rooftop with his telescope. "They don't know what they're in for," he muttered, adjusting the lens. "They think we're weak. They think we're small. But we're not. We've always found a way." Across the ocean in Cairo, scientist Layla Hassan and her team worked furiously. "They are monitoring everything," she said. "Every move we make, every signal we send, but humans adapt. We can learn fast. We can be clever. And sometimes, that's stronger than power." The aliens, meanwhile, were beginning to notice. Their scanners recorded humanity's calm behavior, their organized preparation, and their lack of immediate panic. It confused them. Most civilizations they had encountered bowed or fled. Earth did neither. In orbit above the Pacific, a massive alien ship hovered silently. Inside, the alien commanders observed. Their appearance was strange to human eyes, tall, lithe, with shimmering skin that reflected light like liquid metal. Their eyes were large and dark, capable of scanning details far beyond human vision. "We expected fear," one of them said, its voice translated into human speech by the universal translators the fleet used. "They do not fear. They smile." Another tilted its head, puzzled. "This is illogical. Every species obeys, flees, or attacks. Why do they behave differently?" "They are unpredictable," the first replied. "Their minds operate on patterns we cannot anticipate. They have not yet proven themselves weak. Perhaps they are stronger than expected." Back on Earth, humans continued to show their strength, in small ways. Medical teams prepared to help anyone affected by panic, even though most people remained calm. Students and teachers continued lessons, improvising outdoor classrooms where the ships blocked signals. Farmers and workers carried on, ensuring that life in its ordinary and extraordinary ways continued. In the United Nations headquarters, delegates gathered. They debated sending envoys, but even then, the tension was different from what had been expected. No one panicked. Instead, there was a shared understanding. Humanity's true strength was not in weapons or numbers, but in ingenuity, courage, and the will to survive and thrive. As night fell, the alien ships shone like moons above the Earth. Their presence was overwhelming, yet humans still looked up with curiosity rather than despair. Families gathered on rooftops and balconies. Children asked questions, adults speculated, and a quiet, unspoken message traveled across the planet. Humanity would face this challenge as it had faced all others, together. Lena Morales, watching from Washington, whispered to herself as she observed the blinking lights of the fleet. "They think we are small, but they do not know us. They will learn, eventually." In a small observatory in Argentina, astronomer Diego Morales, no relation, leaned back and smiled. "Finally," he said, "something truly worth looking at. And for once, it's not just a star. It's them." And somewhere deep in the vast expanse of the fleet, the alien commanders studied, puzzled by the calm, determined humans before them. The patterns they had learned from countless civilizations did not apply here. Humanity was different. The first day of the encounter ended without explosions, without surrender, without chaos. The world had held its breath and released it slowly, realizing that the arrival of the Galactic fleet did not bring doom, but an opportunity. Humans grinned, quietly, confidently. The aliens could not yet understand the meaning, but they would. For humanity, the game had begun and the humans were ready. The day after the arrival of the Galactic fleet, humanity waited in cautious anticipation. Across the world, people scanned the skies, taking photos and videos, discussing theories, and imagining what the aliens were like. But the humans were not afraid. They were curious. They were ready. In a specially built space station orbiting Earth, a team of humans prepared for the first direct contact. This team included scientists, engineers, diplomats, and soldiers. Among them were Dr. Lena Morales, the astrophysicist who had observed the fleet's first appearance, and Commander Akira Tanaka, a veteran astronaut known for his calm thinking. under pressure. The plan was simple but risky. Board one of the alien ships and attempt peaceful communication. The aliens had hovered silently over the planet for over 24 hours, observing humanity's reactions, and now it was time for humans to step forward. When the docking sequence began, tension filled the air. The human shuttle moved slowly toward the nearest alien vessel, a massive structure larger than any city on Earth. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, constantly shifting as though it were alive. "Stay calm," Akira said over the comms. "Remember, we are observers first, friends second, and nothing proves intelligence like patience." The shuttle touched the alien hull with barely a whisper. Magnetic locks engaged, holding it steady. Lena Morales took a deep breath. "Here we go," she said. The airlock opened, revealing a corridor of light. Humans stepped forward, their movements cautious but confident. The interior was not what they had expected. The walls were smooth, curving in ways that defied geometry. Strange, glowing symbols floated in the air, shifting and rearranging themselves. The human delegation exchanged glances, but no one hesitated. From the shadows, the aliens appeared. They were tall and graceful, with skin that reflected light like polished metal. Their large, dark eyes studied the humans intensely, analyzing every movement. They communicated not with words, but with pulses of color and sound that humans could only partially interpret. One alien stepped forward, projecting a message through the translator devices. "You have arrived willingly. Why do you not fear?" Lena Morales stepped forward. "We are curious, not fearful. Fear does not solve problems. Observation, understanding, and cooperation do." The alien paused. Its head tilted and its shimmering skin shifted to a softer glow. "Most species obey without question. They submit immediately or resist violently. You do neither. You smile. You are illogical." Commander Tanaka smiled faintly. "Perhaps our strength lies not in following expectations, but in thinking for ourselves." The alien considered this. For a moment, the corridor was silent, except for the soft hum of the ship. Then another alien approached, extending what appeared to be a limb in a gesture of curiosity. Humans imitated the gesture, careful but open. Small communication steps like these would be crucial to understanding the unknown beings before them. The delegation was led deeper into the ship. The walls emitted a soft, bioluminescent light, adjusting automatically to the human's presence. Symbols moved faster, forming shapes and patterns that reminded humans of code, mathematics, and art simultaneously. Lena's eyes sparkled. "They communicate in layers," she whispered. "Patterns that contain multiple meanings at once. Incredible." As they walked, the humans began noticing small anomalies. Panels that seemed broken were actually interactive. Certain symbols reacted to human gestures, producing holographic maps of star systems, energy flows, and planets unknown to Earth. One engineer, Samir Patel, could not resist touching a glowing panel. Immediately, the room lit up with schematics. "It's like they are testing us," he said, "seeing if we can understand without fear or hesitation." The aliens observed silently. Every small interaction was recorded and analyzed. Humans repaired a minor system failure in one of the corridors using improvised tools from their shuttle. The aliens seemed fascinated. They had expected helplessness. Instead, they saw adaptability. Finally, the delegation reached a large chamber, unlike any human architecture. The room was circular with a smooth, reflective floor and a ceiling that appeared infinite. In the center, a floating orb of light rotated slowly, pulsing with colors that no human had names for. The aliens gestured for the humans to approach. Lena stepped closer. She studied the orb, noticing patterns that reminded her of neural activity. "It's a data core," she guessed, "or something like a central intelligence." The orb responded, changing colors rapidly. A voice, translated to human language, filled the chamber. "You have not reacted with fear. You have not obeyed blindly. You approach with curiosity. This is, unusual." Commander Tanaka spoke. "We believe understanding comes from observation and cooperation, not from dominance. We are ready to learn, and we hope to teach in return." For the first time, the alien beings seemed hesitant. They had encountered countless species, but none had approached them with such balance of caution and confidence. Some had fled, some had attacked, some had surrendered. But humans were something new. Over the next hours, small exchanges continued. Humans deciphered alien symbols faster than expected, using intuition, logic, and creativity. Engineers demonstrated simple fixes that stabilized minor power fluctuations. Soldiers showed calm problem-solving under simulated threats. Even simple gestures, smiles, nods, and careful curiosity communicated trustworthiness. The aliens recorded everything. One of the senior alien commanders finally spoke. "Your methods are unpredictable. Most species respond to dominance or fear. You respond to reason and ingenuity. This confounds our models." Lena smiled. "That's because humans are not predictable. We adapt, we survive, and sometimes the best solutions come from the simplest actions." As the day progressed, the humans were invited to witness alien technology that had never been seen by any other species. Energy systems that harnessed the power of stars. Navigation devices capable of mapping entire galaxies instantly. Materials that were both solid and fluid, changing properties as needed. The delegation was amazed, but they were also undaunted. They asked questions, suggested ideas, and even solved minor technical challenges using human methods. The aliens began to realize something important. These humans were not weak. They were not simple. They were clever, resourceful, and persistent, and most importantly, they were confident without arrogance. By evening, the first contact team was allowed to return to Earth with messages of peace and observation. The aliens were cautious but curious. They had seen humans act in ways they did not expect. Humans had smiled, laughed, solved problems, and demonstrated bravery. The fleet had arrived expecting fear and submission, but instead they found something else entirely. On Earth, the world watched as the shuttle returned. The team stepped out, tired but smiling. They were greeted as heroes, not for fighting, but for showing humanity's best qualities: intelligence, cooperation, and courage. In a press conference, Lena Morales spoke to the world. "Today we learned something extraordinary. These visitors are unlike any we have encountered before. And today, we showed that humans are not afraid to face the unknown. We adapt, we learn, we act together, and we do so with integrity." Children around the world repeated her words, not fully understanding the depth but feeling the pride. Adults nodded, realizing that this was not just history, they were living it. Meanwhile, the alien commanders reported back to their central council. "The humans approach with confidence. They do not fear. They do not submit. They are intriguing," said one. Another added, "We will continue observation. They are unpredictable, but that may be their greatest strength." And back on Earth, people looked up at the alien ships again, not with terror, but with curiosity and excitement. Humanity had met the first challenge of the Galactic fleet, not with weapons, not with fear, but with ingenuity, courage, and a quiet, confident smile. Somewhere in the crowd, a young boy pointed to the sky and whispered to his sister, "They don't know it yet, but humans always find a way." The aliens did not know it yet either, but they would. The first contact had ended, but the story was just beginning, and humanity, as always, was ready for the next step. After the first contact, the Galactic fleet withdrew slightly, leaving the humans with a sense of cautious curiosity. The aliens had observed humanity closely, and their interest had grown. They realized that these humans were unlike any species they had ever encountered: resilient, creative, and unpredictable. In the weeks that followed, humanity's leaders received a message from the alien fleet. It was formal, precise, and carefully translated into every human language. "People of Earth," it began, Your species has drawn our attention. To prove your worthiness to exist within the galactic community, you must demonstrate your intelligence, resilience, and adaptability. You will face trials designed to assess your capabilities. Acceptance into the community will follow only upon successful completion. The announcement spread across the world. Governments, scientists, engineers, and ordinary citizens debated what the trials might entail. Would they be tests of strength, endurance, mind games? Whatever the challenges, humanity responded as it always did, with preparation, cooperation, and determination. In a command center in Geneva, a multinational team gathered to plan. Dr. Lena Morales, Commander Akira Tanaka, and other experts discussed strategies. "We cannot know what the aliens will ask," Lena said. "But we can rely on what humans do best: teamwork, ingenuity, and quick thinking." Commander Tanaka nodded. "We face the unknown, yes, but humans have survived disasters, wars, and countless impossible situations. We adapt. That is our strength." The first trial was announced shortly thereafter. A holographic message from the Alien Council appeared in major cities and communication networks simultaneously. It depicted a massive simulation resembling a maze filled with obstacles, traps, and puzzles. You must navigate this simulation. Failure will indicate unpreparedness. Success will show your potential, the message explained. In preparation, the human team studied the holographic patterns. Engineers sketched solutions, scientists calculated possible variables, and soldiers practiced strategic thinking. But more than planning, the humans relied on creativity. They approached the simulation not as a test of brute force, but as a puzzle meant to be solved with intelligence and collaboration. The day of the trial arrived. The human delegation entered a designated neutral zone aboard a specially prepared spacecraft provided by the aliens. The simulation began immediately. Walls rose and shifted around them. Corridors twisted unexpectedly, and doors appeared only to vanish moments later. At first, the alien observers expected panic. Most species froze when confronted with uncertainty. But the humans did something unusual. They smiled. They exchanged calm instructions and encouraged one another. "Check the ceiling patterns," Lena suggested. "They might indicate the correct path." "Good idea," Samir Patel replied. Using a small device, he scanned the symbols above. Certain patterns corresponded to safe passageways. Humans moved carefully, noting each detail, marking paths, and learning from mistakes. The first obstacle appeared, a corridor filled with shifting energy fields. Any misstep would have triggered failure. A human soldier named Elena Wei noticed a pattern in the pulses. "They pulse in a rhythm," she said. "We move when the energy dips. Timing is key." The humans synchronized their movements, advancing step by step. Every member relied on observation, timing, and trust. The aliens recorded every action with growing amazement. Next, the trial presented a logic puzzle. Doors were locked with complex symbols, changing in sequence as the humans approached. Many species would panic or force entry, but humans adapted. Lena and her team worked together, combining mathematics, intuition, and pattern recognition. Within minutes, they unlocked the doors and moved forward. One alien observer projected a thought to its peers. They improvise. They do not rely on brute force. Their intelligence is creative. In another section, humans encountered a simulated environment designed to test endurance and resilience. The room contained extreme temperatures and shifting gravity fields. Most species would have failed quickly. Humans, however, improvised tools and techniques. Ropes made from synthetic materials were used to stabilize movement. Shields created from clothing and supplies helped regulate temperature. Through careful observation and cooperation, they advanced further. They helped one another across obstacles, sharing ideas and boosting morale. Where alien designers expected fear, they saw courage. Where they expected submission, they saw ingenuity. Hours passed. The final stage of the simulation appeared. A massive chamber with a puzzle of energy streams that needed redirection to unlock an exit. Humans studied the situation carefully. One of the engineers, Samir, suggested a solution that used a simple principle, reflection. He grabbed a few available materials and created a path that redirected the energy safely. The plan worked perfectly. The final door opened. The humans stepped through, exhausted but triumphant. For the first time, the aliens could not hide their astonishment. No species had ever completed the trial in this way. Humans had succeeded not because they had the most advanced technology, but because they had used intelligence, observation, and teamwork. The humans returned to Earth as heroes again, but this time, the victory was deeper. It was not about survival alone. It was about proving humanity's essence, creativity, courage, and cooperation. In Geneva, Lena addressed the world. Today, we have shown that humans can face the unknown and succeed through intelligence and unity. We have faced a challenge designed by beings far more advanced than ourselves, and we prevailed. This is not just a victory for science or the military, it is a victory for humanity itself. The alien observers continued to analyze. They do not follow predictable patterns. Their thinking is flexible. Their problem-solving relies on observation, cooperation, and creativity. Such traits are rare. The next challenge was announced shortly afterward. This trial was different. It tested moral reasoning. A holographic environment depicted a scenario where humans could achieve personal success at the expense of others. The aliens wanted to see if humanity could maintain ethical principles under pressure. The humans approached this trial carefully. They debated solutions, weighing efficiency against morality. Many species would have chosen selfish advantage. Humans chose a balanced approach, helping all parties while achieving success. The aliens recorded every decision. "This is remarkable," an alien commander said. "They value cooperation over dominance. They understand that strength lies not just in power but in wisdom." As the trials progressed, the humans impressed the aliens repeatedly. They demonstrated resourcefulness, ethics, teamwork, and calm under pressure. Small gestures like helping a fellow team member or improvising a solution on the spot made a greater impression than any display of raw power. Back on Earth, the world watched updates with fascination. People cheered for the delegation, proud, not just of survival, but of the ingenuity and intelligence humanity had shown. Children drew pictures of humans navigating alien trials, imagining themselves as part of the adventure. Adults discussed the lessons learned, realizing that humanity's true strength lay in its adaptability and resilience. By the end of the final trial, the aliens convened. "We have observed thousands of civilizations across the galaxy. One of the commanders said, "None have displayed such creativity, courage, and cooperation. Humans are exceptional." Commander Tanaka, unaware of the alien conversation, smiled faintly as he returned to the shuttle. "They are beginning to understand," he said. "Humans are more than they expect, and we have only just begun to show them what we can do." Lena Morales looked at the stars beyond the viewport. "They may have technology far beyond ours," she said softly. "But humans have something unique. The ability to adapt, to solve problems, and to remain united in the face of uncertainty. That is something no technology can replace." The Galactic fleet had arrived expecting fear. They had expected submission. They had not expected humans to grin, to think, to cooperate, and to excel. And now, the aliens were learning a lesson they had rarely encountered in all their travels. Human ingenuity was unpredictable, and humanity's spirit could not be calculated or contained. As night fell over Earth, the fleet hovered silently. The humans had completed the trials. They had proven themselves not by destruction, not by weapons, but by intellect, ethics, and collaboration. Across the planet, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. Humanity had faced the first real test, from the stars, and passed with brilliance. In a quiet moment, Lena watched a child pointing at the alien ships. "We are not just surviving," she whispered. "We are showing the galaxy what humans can do." Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the alien commanders reviewed the data once more. "This species It may redefine our understanding of intelligence and resilience. They are unpredictable in the most extraordinary way. And back on Earth, humans slept peacefully that night, unaware of the magnitude of their achievement. They had faced trials designed to challenge the mind, test morality, and push endurance. And they had excelled. The challenge had revealed humanity's essence: brave, inventive, united, and unshakably human. The Galactic fleet would not forget this day, and humanity, as always, was ready for whatever came next. After the trials, the Galactic fleet withdrew slightly from Earth's orbit, but not out of fear or retreat. Instead, a new phase of observation began. The aliens, once cold and methodical, were now filled with curiosity. They had expected humans to panic, surrender, or act aggressively. But humans had done none of these things. Instead, they had adapted, solved problems, and acted ethically. In Geneva, global leaders and scientists awaited the next communication. Lina Morales, Commander Akira Tanaka, and representatives from many nations gathered in the main hall. The alien message arrived in the same dramatic fashion as before, a broadcast to every device capable of receiving it. People of Earth, the message began, calm and formal. We have observed your species. We have issued trials to assess your capabilities. Your performance has been exceptional. You are unlike any civilization we have encountered in the galaxy. Your intelligence, creativity, and cooperation are extraordinary. We now reveal our purpose and intentions. The room fell silent. People leaned forward. For the first time, the aliens were sharing their thoughts in full, and humanity was about to learn why the fleet had arrived. The aliens continued. Our mission was not conquest. It was not to demand submission. Across the stars, we have monitored civilizations for eons. Many species fall into patterns of fear, aggression, or self-interest. Few exhibit the adaptability, resourcefulness, and moral judgment that your species has shown. You are exceptional. Gasps and murmurs filled the hall. Lina whispered to Akira. They're acknowledging us. Fully. A global conference was convened, with alien representatives appearing holographically. Their forms shimmered, tall and elegant, with eyes that reflected the knowledge of 1,000 worlds. We seek allies, one of the aliens said. We offer knowledge, technology, and guidance. We do not seek to dominate. We seek cooperation. Commander Tanaka stepped forward. We accept the opportunity to learn and cooperate. But know this: humanity will never surrender its independence. We will collaborate, yes, but on equal terms. The aliens paused. That is unexpected. Most species submit immediately when offered guidance. Your insistence on equality is intriguing. Perhaps it is a quality that sets your species apart. Lina smiled. Humans value freedom and responsibility. We can learn, but we also make our own choices. That is our strength. Over the next few days, humans were invited aboard the largest alien vessels. The ships were more vast than any human imagination had allowed, with corridors that twisted like rivers of light, rooms filled with energy flows that seemed alive, and systems that could manipulate matter itself. Everywhere humans went, they asked questions, offered insights, and solved problems that had puzzled the alien engineers for centuries. In one engineering bay, Samir Patel suggested a simple adjustment to a power conduit that improved efficiency. The aliens watched in astonishment as their most complex systems responded to human improvisation. This is remarkable, an alien commander said in private conversation with its peers. They adapt not through superior technology, but through ingenuity. They observe, learn, and create solutions spontaneously. No other species has done this. Meanwhile, Lina and her team studied alien communications networks. They discovered a system capable of instantaneous translation and data transfer across galaxies. But instead of exploiting it for power, humans carefully observed, understanding first before experimenting. The aliens noticed, and it impressed them further. On Earth, people watched these developments unfold. News channels broadcast images of humans moving freely aboard alien ships, interacting respectfully with beings far more advanced. For once, humanity was not fearing invasion. It was gaining trust. The aliens invited humans to participate in projects previously considered too advanced for new species. They introduced energy technologies capable of powering entire planets, star maps showing uncharted territories, and methods of sustainable habitation on worlds humans had only dreamed of. The human teams contributed in return. Engineers, scientists, and strategists proposed practical adjustments, improvements, and adaptations that were simple but effective. Where the aliens had relied on precision and predictability, humans brought creativity and flexibility. In one project, humans helped stabilize an energy field around a distant star. The aliens had tried for decades without success. Humans approached the problem differently, using intuition and experimentation. In hours, the field was stabilized. The aliens were stunned. "This is not brute strength," one commander whispered. "It is cleverness, patience, and vision combined. Humanity is remarkable." Back on Earth, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. Humanity had survived the trials and, more importantly, had begun to earn the respect of beings far beyond the solar system. Children drew pictures of humans aboard alien ships. Adults discussed ethics, creativity, and collaboration in new ways. Humanity's perception of itself was growing as fast as the aliens' perception of humans. One evening, Lena Morales stood on a balcony overlooking Geneva. The night sky was filled with alien ships, hovering silently. "They have underestimated us for centuries," she said softly to Akira. "But humans always find a way. We learn, we adapt, we survive. And sometimes we even teach." Akira nodded. "And now they are learning from us. This is just the beginning." The aliens had more to reveal. "Our presence among you is not permanent," they explained. In another broadcast, "We do not intend to remain in your space indefinitely, but the knowledge, alliances, and relationships we offer will shape the future. You have been chosen as potential partners among the galactic community. Your actions have proven that humans possess qualities that are rare and valuable." Across the planet, humans reacted with pride. They had faced the unknown and emerged, not just intact but respected. And the fleet had arrived expecting fear, but found confidence, ingenuity, and cooperation instead. In private meetings, the alien commanders continued to discuss humanity. "They are unlike any other species," one said. "They possess a balance of strength, morality, and creativity that defies our models. Their unpredictability is admirable." Another added, "Perhaps this species can teach us as much as we teach them. They are exceptional in every way." Humans, however, remained humble. They had proven themselves in trials, earned respect, and learned from the aliens, but they had not acted arrogantly. They understood the magnitude of the moment. They were not conquerors, but partners. In classrooms around the world, children learned about the Galactic fleet and humanity's first contact. Teachers emphasized problem-solving, creativity, and ethics. Parents spoke of courage and cooperation, and humans everywhere began to realize something profound. Their true strength was not weapons or dominance, but intelligence, resilience, and unity. Even ordinary acts mattered. Farmers shared resources with communities near alien landing zones. Scientists developed new energy methods inspired by alien designs. Artists depicted humans and aliens together, imagining collaboration and exploration. Humanity was not just surviving, it was thriving. On board the alien ships, humans continued to impress. They improved systems, solved problems, and maintained ethical decision-making. The aliens, who had expected fear or rebellion, saw something far more extraordinary: the quiet confidence of a species that refused to be underestimated. "Perhaps we have judged them too narrowly," one commander admitted. "They are capable of far more than we imagined." Lena Morales reflected on these words one evening as she returned to Earth from an alien ship. "They are learning what we have always known," she said. "Humans are clever, resilient, and cooperative. We face challenges together, and we never give up." The Galactic fleet had arrived expecting dominance. They had expected fear, surrender, or resistance. Instead, they found humans who could think, adapt, and act with integrity. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the aliens began to smile. Not a literal smile, but a recognition of the unique and enduring spirit of humanity. For the first time in its long journey across the stars, the fleet considered that a species might not need to be conquered or controlled. It could be respected, admired, and included. Humanity had demonstrated that respect must be earned through courage, intelligence, and morality. As Earth slept that night, humans dreamed not of fear, but of possibility. They had proven themselves, and now the galaxy had taken notice. The aliens had revealed their purpose, shared their knowledge, and begun to recognize the human spirit. And humanity, as always, was ready to rise to the next challenge. The revelation was clear. The fleet had come to test, and humanity had passed. But the lesson was deeper than victory. Humans had shown that their greatest power lay not in technology, but in ingenuity, ethics, and the courage to act together. The Galactic fleet, which had arrived expecting fear, was leaving with respect, and humanity, quietly, confidently, had grinned. The days after the revelation were filled with preparation and planning. Humanity had proven itself through trials, earned the respect of the Galactic fleet, and was now being invited into a larger galactic conversation. But the humans did not act arrogantly. They understood that they were still learning and that cooperation required humility, courage, and creativity. In Geneva, representatives from nations across the planet met with alien delegates. The atmosphere was electric. Humans spoke carefully, confidently, and thoughtfully. They asked questions about technology, space travel, and energy systems, and in return, they offered ideas grounded in practicality and adaptability. Dr. Lena Morales led discussions about energy distribution. "We can combine our methods with yours," she suggested. "We may be simpler in some ways, but our solutions often rely on creativity and improvisation. That could complement your advanced systems." The aliens, once skeptical, now nodded, thoughtfully. They had anticipated dominance, but they were finding something far more intriguing: collaboration. In orbit above Earth, humans were invited to test starship designs that dwarfed anything humanity had built. These ships could travel across light years in weeks, sustain life on uninhabitable worlds, and manipulate energy fields for propulsion. Yet the humans approached with caution. They learned first, studied carefully, and then applied their unique perspective. Samir Patel examined a propulsion system that used energy streams to move vast masses of matter. "If we adjust the energy ratio slightly," he said, "we might improve efficiency without changing the structure. It's a simple idea, but it could work." The alien engineers watched as the adjustment succeeded. Systems stabilized, energy consumption decreased. The humans had added value not by replacing alien technology, but by enhancing it with intuition and practical thinking. Meanwhile, on Earth, people continued to marvel at the transformation. Alien ships hovered in orbit, yes, but humanity's confidence was visible in every corner of the planet. Cities adapted to new energy sources. Schools began teaching principles inspired by alien technology, and scientists collaborated across borders to understand and apply these advances. Commander Akira Tanaka oversaw training sessions for pilots and engineers. Humans learned to navigate alien ships, operate systems that seemed almost magical, and solve complex problems on the fly. Every new skill gained reinforced the truth the aliens had begun to understand. Humans were not only resilient, but they were remarkably adaptable. In one striking moment, a fleet-wide demonstration was arranged. Humans were given command of a mixed team of alien and human ships in a coordinated maneuver across the solar system. The task was to map an asteroid field while maintaining communication, energy stability, and safety. The aliens expected hesitation, delays, or mistakes, but humans led with calm precision. They communicated clearly, anticipated changes, and adapted when unexpected obstacles arose. Energy streams shifted unpredictably, but humans adjusted immediately, using combinations of logic, intuition, and cooperation. At the end of the demonstration, the alien commanders convened. "They are exceptional," one said quietly. "Not through force, but through creativity, courage, and unity. They are not like any species we have observed before." Lina Morales smiled as she reported the results. "They underestimated us at first, but humans thrive in uncertainty. We solve problems, cooperate, and maintain integrity. That is what makes us strong." For the humans involved, the experience was thrilling. They were learning from the most advanced civilization humanity had ever encountered, yet their contributions were valued equally. Their ideas, practical and inventive, made tangible differences. And the aliens began to realize that respect must be earned not through fear or submission, but through action and character. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. Citizens of all nations watched the news and reflected on what had been accomplished. Humanity had faced a challenge from the stars, not with weapons, but with intelligence, ethics, and teamwork. People smiled, not out of arrogance, but pride in their species. In classrooms, children drew starships and humans exploring new worlds. Teachers spoke of ingenuity, cooperation, and courage. Parents discussed history and possibility. And everywhere, a quiet but powerful message spread. Humans were capable of greatness, and they had shown it to the galaxy. The Galactic fleet had come expecting fear and submission. They had seen the unpredictability of humans and realized that these traits were not weaknesses but strengths. Humans could adapt, innovate, and solve problems that no other species could. In a final council meeting aboard the largest alien vessel, the fleet addressed humanity directly. "People of Earth, your species has impressed us beyond measure. You have completed trials, demonstrated ingenuity, and acted with courage and ethics. You are invited to join the galactic community as equals. Your spirit, creativity, and resilience are remarkable." A cheer spread among the human delegation. They had not just survived, they had earned a place among the stars, not through dominance, but through the qualities that had always defined humanity: intelligence, morality, and unity. Commander Tanaka stepped forward. "We accept your offer. But know this: humans value freedom and independence. We will contribute, collaborate, and share knowledge. We will learn, and we will teach, and we will always act with integrity." The aliens paused, their shimmering forms reflecting light in ways humans could barely comprehend. "We understand," one replied. "We expected fear. We expected surrender. But instead we see confidence, intelligence, and morality. This is extraordinary. Your species is unlike any we have encountered." Back on Earth, the alien ships began to withdraw slightly, making room for humans to operate more freely. Humans were now involved in mapping distant star systems, sharing technology and learning advanced sciences. The Galactic fleet had become partners, mentors, and collaborators rather than conquerors or overlords. Dr. Lina Morales stood on a balcony in Geneva, looking at the night sky filled with alien lights. "They have underestimated us for centuries," she said softly. "But humans have always adapted, solved problems, and acted with courage. We have shown the galaxy who we are." Across the world, ordinary humans continued their lives with extraordinary pride. Farmers, engineers, teachers, and students all understood that humanity had proven itself not by weapons but by spirit. In one quiet moment, a child looked at the night sky and whispered, "They came expecting us to fear, but we smiled." Indeed, humans had grinned, not at fear, not at the unknown, but at possibility. They had faced trials designed by the most advanced beings in the galaxy and emerged stronger, wiser, and respected. The Galactic fleet departed Earth orbit gradually, leaving humans with resources, knowledge, and alliances. But more importantly, they left humans with respect, a respect earned not by dominance, not by aggression, but by ingenuity, courage, and morality. Samir Patel looked up at the last of the alien ships disappearing into the stars. They still don't understand fully, he said, smiling. But they will. Humanity is unpredictable in the best way. Commander Tanaka agreed. And that is our greatest strength. We think, we adapt, we cooperate, and we act with integrity. That is what makes humans remarkable. Across the world, humans celebrated quietly. They had survived the arrival of an advanced galactic force, faced trials, solved problems, acted ethically, and emerged respected. The grin humanity had carried, through fear, uncertainty, and challenge, was now recognized across the stars. Lena Morales reflected one last time on the events. We have proven something important, not just to the galactic fleet but to ourselves. Humans are capable of incredible things when we act together, when we think creatively, and when we act with courage. This is only the beginning of what we can achieve. And somewhere, far across the galaxy, the alien commanders reported to their central council. The humans, they are exceptional. Their spirit is strong, their ingenuity unmatched, and their morality remarkable. They will change the galaxy in ways we cannot yet predict. And perhaps, we have learned from them as much as they have learned from us. On Earth, the stars seemed closer than ever. Humanity had reached beyond its limits, faced the unknown, and emerged as equals among civilizations that had traversed the galaxy for eons. And through it all, humans had smiled, not in fear, not in arrogance, but in pride, hope, and confidence. The galactic fleet had arrived, expecting fear, but humans had grinned, and in that grin lay the promise of humanity's future, brilliant, bold, and endless.